Welcome to this festive episode of the Informing Choices mini-pod. Here's a question. How has the way you plan to spend Christmas this year changed from 10 or 20 years ago? And how might it change in the future? Last year, together with 6 futurists, we explored how Christmas and the holiday season more broadly might change in the future. And we're going to tap into their ideas again for this festive episode of the Informing Choices mini-pod. The combination of social, technological, and environmental trends in particular are driving change in everyday life, society, and business. The way we celebrate traditional, cultural, spiritual, and family events continues to evolve. Technology offers new ways to celebrate and reminisce about Christmases long in the past and create new traditions. And the environment and sustainability agenda more broadly shape how we use resources to help us celebrate sustainably. Here's what 6 futurists think. Firstly, strategic communicator and futurist Gina Clifford considers the impact of climate change and sustainability on real and artificial Christmas trees.
One of the symbols of Christmas, one of the enduring symbols of Christmas is the Christmas tree. And many of us go out and find a Christmas tree, a live Christmas tree every year, and bring it home. You get that sense of bringing nature into the home, and you have that wonderful fresh scent inside your house, and it's beautiful, right? You can touch it. It feels connection with nature, and especially over these past few years, people really appreciate those kinds of touches in their home. But I think what we're seeing right now is with climate change, a lot of the fir trees are actually experiencing difficulty with droughts, and then the insects come in and fungus comes in and kills them. And most of the tree farmers in the world that produce Christmas trees are small or medium-sized businesses. So I don't know how much by 2040 they're going to be able to hang on to that business. And then you have the artificial Christmas trees, which are PVC plastic, not that environmentally friendly. Even the ones that are recyclable, how much of that stuff actually gets recycled is questionable. And then we have the Gen Z, and then the generation after them with Gen A. So by 2040, 2043, they're going to be middle-aged, but they're growing up in an age where, and they care about the environment, and they care a lot about the future, right? So those folks are pushing back. Greta Thunberg is one of those folks, like, we have to do something now. So I don't think they're going to love PVC Christmas trees. And I don't think they're going to be able to get a lot of natural trees. So I think we're going to see holographic Christmas trees, complete with touch, scent, sound. All of that technology is being developed right now and in different levels of maturity. It's still pretty young, but I think by 2043, we could see a holographic Christmas tree that feels real, that you'll have scent, it'll smell like a conifer. You'll have even be able to touch it, and you'll be able to feel what feels like the needles. And I think it'll be connected to some kind of maybe a hybrid of metaverse and internet, maybe the meta-net. And you'll actually either decorate your Christmas tree online or through this meta-net, or you can use the AI version, which uses cameras and things probably built into some device you have in your house, that actually looks at your decor and automatically suggests the best color scheme and decorations for your house. So I think that in short, if you're going to have Christmas in the future, Christmas trees in the future, they could very well be holograms.
Next, metaverse strategist and global futurist Sylvia Galusa explores how enabling emerging technologies might lead to an on-demand, high-tech Christmas of the future.
Choose your own Christmas. It's mainly the on-demand Christmas. It's closer maybe to a transformation scenario. We go back to the for alternate future methodology. So we can select all the components on demand. The theme can be diverse and transcultural. We click on a button and our smart home, our smart walls and windows and appliance and our smart tree adapt to maybe Christmas in Russia or Christmas in Mexico or anywhere on Earth or beyond. We can also switch to maybe a fantasy theme or medieval theme or celebrity Christmas dinner like celebration. And thanks to maybe what will come up at the Internet of Senses, so not just a visual internet, but really where you can smell, where you can taste, and so on. We can now digitally touch, smell, and taste things from all over the world. Our guests can be maybe members of our family by choice, friends, colleagues, neighbors, strangers, and even maybe deceased ancestors whose spirits we bring back to life once a year for this very special night. We enjoy inventive 3D printed food. Christmas is not so much of a home-based celebration anymore. Maybe we transpose Christmas to inspiring places. We rejoice on an island in the sun. We dine amongst the stars at Disney's latest cool restaurant, Space 220, or maybe a higher number since then. And maybe in an underwater restaurant as well, because that's also an exploration right now as to how we can build hotels and restaurants under the sea. And maybe we gather in an anti-gravity shuttle, or we celebrate on board a Virgin Galactic space station. Who knows?
Futurist Joanna Lenkova focuses on using technology for a nostalgic trip to Christmas past, expanding on the themes of creating new traditions and a sense of magic.
Looking at the trends that govern our reality today and thinking about the implications on the future, I would say that in 2040, we will most likely have a climate that has shifted substantially. So I was reading reports that the majority of UK, especially the southern part, is set to no longer see sub-zero temperatures and cold days. So that means no snow. And this made me think of two things. First, we could put a nostalgic spin on it and maybe celebrate Christmas by having virtual visits to the past, where we would look at and actually experience white Christmases, as well as family gathered around the fire. But perhaps we could also, start creating our own new Christmas traditions that are more relevant to the times and the environments that we live in. Of course, we're right now like in the midst of the metaverse hype. We talk so much about the metaverse. So just further exploring what Christmas in 2040 would look like makes me think that definitely we can't miss the metaverse. So we should consider a virtual edition. And that gives us so many possibilities. So we could relive our childhood memories. We can be in Lapland. We can, help out in Santa's workshops, and all of this to really transport us to an experience that is a little more magical and a little more special, and perhaps reminding us of our own family traditions and keeping us connected to our ancestors. And I think at the same time, what we're seeing, obviously, with, again, connected to the environment, I would imagine that we would be putting a lot of efforts into preservation of the environment. So this could see us planting Christmas trees versus cutting them. And perhaps Christmas could become an even bigger occasion to spread love and kindness to people and the environment.
In his future Christmas, Rob Caldera has been using new treatments to halt and even partially reverse his aging. As a result, he's able to feel really good about getting up early on Christmas morning to open gifts with his grandkids in his hollow room.
And I'm hopeful that in the new year, the FDA will approve these new longevity treatments that have been developed or in development. I mean, the clinical trials I've been reading about have shown some good success, limited efficacy, not exactly the fountain of youth, but it's promising. Maybe enough to keep me going until those nanobots can come in and repair my whole body to keep me going longer. But so like I said, I feel good, and I'm up very early this Christmas, even though it's been decades since my kids were little. And that's because we're opening gifts with the grandkids, even though they're 1,500 miles away. See, it's 2040. Holographic technology now is as common as big screen TVs were in the 2020s. And I recently converted my family room into a holo room, kind of like the old telepresence rooms that big corporations had back in the day, but of course with 3D holograms. But everybody's got these days. They're really common. At least most middle-class families have these sort of holographic projectors and rooms in their houses. So grandma and grandpa get to practically be there with the kids as they open up their gifts. which, being forgetful as we are, we just ordered yesterday on Christmas Eve, but arrived same day via driverless parcel carrier. Because, hey, that's the way things are these days. Last minute actually works for me. See, if being late my whole life finally had some advantages.
It finally pays off.
Finally pays off, yeah. So we had a great time, with the kids, grandkids opening the gifts, which included Grandpa taking a brief but dizzying journey to play a game with my grandson in his virtual playroom, courtesy of the metaverse, of course. But as amazing as it is, Gramps just can't seem to get used to that experience. Even with all the improvements in the headsets these days, if you could even call them headsets, they're just sort of these, very thin wraps around your head that even allow you to focus just like your own eyes do. And there's even the contacts options, but I'm not going there. That's
Never
that's
put anything in your eye.
No, I'm not putting anything in my eyes. That's I'm not going there.
Futurist Alex Whittington has a particular interest in social futures, and part of her idea about future Christmas includes what we retain in the act of gift giving, even if future gifts are no longer physical.
This is a really cool question to me. I'm interested in all sorts of holidays in the future. And I think with Christmas, I'm probably going to focus on the gift giving aspect. I was thinking that in 20 years, the way that we gift one another may be something quite different. In particular, was something that jumped to my mind when I was going over the question was we might have some sort of fake or prop gifts to give in the future to put under the tree or what have you, because so many future gifts will be digital, right? I might give someone a piece of digital real estate or some sort of metaverse experience. A lot of the things that will be recreational, fun, entertaining in 2040 will be intangible. So I was brainstorming about, what might we do without those gifts, right? We have bags as part of the decorations, right? It's pretty and colorful. So I was thinking maybe we'll have fake gifts, right? We'll buy them at the store, like along with our fake Christmas tree, fake fireplace, and put some fake gifts under the tree to represent that you're giving someone something, but it's actually gifts that you can't wrap, right? And I mean, this is a problem that we already have today, right? We already we give each other cash and gift cards and stuff like that. But I'm thinking in the future, more and more gifts will be something you can't touch. So therefore, people will want something pretty to exchange. And it may not be what we think of now as gifts. Maybe it would be more like a plant, right? Something, a living thing, a baked good, a cookie, I don't know, something that represents, gift giving that isn't itself a gift, but there may be some digital presence behind it.
I like that idea of still, despite the opportunity represented by digital technologies, there's still the physical, the kind of the human connection, the actual physical taking a gift, whatever it might be. That kind of retains the human element, doesn't it?
That was sort of the assumption I decided to choose on that one. Yeah, because I think that we will still want to have the ceremonial feel of giving someone a gift, accepting a gift, having something there on Christmas morning, especially when you think about kids or older people who will want that tradition to be carried on. I think it's just important to people. Gifting is a ancient human practice, right? It's something that we do as societies. It's important to the way that we stay connected.
Finally, keynote speaker and global futurist Rohit Talwar considers food at Christmas and the role technology might play in helping us prepare spectacular meals.
Then if we come to the food plays a very, very big part of our Christmases. The problem, if you like, is that people can often spend the entire day in the kitchen making the food, and then the meal is over quite quickly. And as much as we love preparing the food, not all of us as good as others at cooking the meal. So there's an awful lot of polite compliments for food that's pretty average.
Not in this house.
Yeah, but we know that there are excellent chefs out there who do a damn good turn at Christmas food. And you don't have to have a turkey or whatever it is. And by then we might be eating entirely plant-based food or, an insect meal. And the question there is, well, how are we going to do that? So what we'll see is, with the embedding of sensors in everything, in our saucepans, in our utensils, we'll be able to download the recipe from Delia Smith to Gordon Ramsay and the cooking instructions. And our home robot will basically execute that. The pan will tell you about the temperature, the viscosity of the food in it. It will tell you about the utensils will also be able to test the aromas. And so they'll be able to manage the cooking process. If your oven isn't quite up to scratch in terms of the way it heats your turkey, then the cooking utensils and everything can adapt. And of course, our oven by then will be able to flash cook your turkey in seconds. So basically, our robotic devices, our smart utensils, will be able to cook whatever we want, and we may even be 3D printing some of the food again. And what that means is we'll have a lot more time for family. So we'll have a lot more time to interact and communicate.
I'm eternally grateful to Rob, Gina, Sylvia, Joanna, Alex, and Rohit for sharing their time and ideas with me. So how do you think Christmas might be celebrated in the future? Do let your friends and colleagues know about the Informing Choices mini-pod. And in the meantime, my very best wishes for the festive season and 2023.